acceptable to you, our rock and our redeemer. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. Well, we continue our summer worship series here just a little bit west of the Nile River at the banks of the Red Sea. God has miraculously delivered, splitting the Red Sea, the Israelites passing on the water's edge, quite literally the water's edge, right through the middle of the Red Sea. And they find themselves on the other side, celebrating God's deliverance, all while their oppressors are being washed up on the water's edge. It's a stark contrast of life and deliverance for one people and death and destruction for another. It's a scene that we, the people of God, at least commemorate, if not celebrate, and for good reason. One people is saved, spared, delivered from their oppression. But if we're honest, it's also a deadly scene, one in which we might be just a little bit ashamed of as well. The Pharaoh of the scene is the result of a Pharaoh who has an incredibly hard heart. He's a stubborn, ruthless, and power-hungry leader. And his anger and selfishness lead him to maliciously pursue the Israelites even after he's decided that they might be free, that they might be let go and escape from Egypt. It's a story of a Pharaoh who has a hard heart. And a hard heart always leads to death and destruction. We heard of Pharaoh's hard heart twice in our story this morning. But it's not only here, it's also in the previous 7 chapters repeated multiple times. Before each plague, as we just sang about a few moments ago, Moses and Aaron go and petition to Pharaoh, "Let my people go!" Each and every time, the text says, Pharaoh's heart is hardened. Pharaoh refuses to soften his heart. Pharaoh's self-serving, malicious hard heart continues to cause more and more and more death and destruction. Death and destruction for his people, death and destruction for his animals, death and destruction for his people's animals, and the land, and even the water. Pharaoh's refusal to soften his heart causes death and destruction. So I have a question for you. It's a question that I wrestle with, and I heard after the first service. It's a question that someone's husband also wrestled with. Why did God not soften Pharaoh's heart? Why would his heart not change? I mean, he could have avoided so much death, so much destruction, if after just 1 plague, or 2 plagues even, maybe even 5 plagues, 10 plagues, the death of a firstborn, the death of Pharaoh and his army. I wish I had an answer for you. I wish that there was an easy answer, maybe is a better way of saying it. This week I came across 2 possibilities, 2 possible explanations that don't fully comprehend the mysteries of the way of God. But they might be 2 things that we could consider this morning. One possible explanation is that this story, the result of Pharaoh's hard heart, is a way to increase the renown of God. For God to establish his name as a liberator, as a deliverer, as one who will free those that are oppressed. The longer, the more painful the experience, the more the Israelites had to wait, and the more the Egyptians had to endure, the more God's power over creation might be made known. The more God's righteous anger against injustice, as the other Reverend Small spoke of last week, might be seen. Quite simply, the story of Israel's exodus out of Egypt was a way for God's name to be made known. first to the Israelites, and then to the rest of the world. This makes some sense, both anecdotally from our lives, but also based on Scripture. I mean, the more tragic an event, the more memorable the day becomes. Where were you on September 11, 2001? My hunch is that many of us remember. And maybe our parents and grandparents remember where they were when Pearl Harbor was bombed, or Hiroshima, the bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, or this space Challenger was exploded. We remember these days, these tragic days in our nation's history, because they had an effect, a long-lasting effect on who we are as a nation. But it's not only the tragedies of a nation that we remember, it's also the significant days in our own lives. Maybe the days that we welcome a child into our home, or maybe the days that we say goodbye to a child. Maybe it's the day that a loved one passed away, or the day that we completed a long-awaited goal like finishing high school or college, or completing a race that we had trained for a long time. When I was in college, my friends and I were on our way out to Lake Tahoe, and we decided that we were going to try to walk to the bottom of the Grand Canyon and then back up in one day. It was crazy, it was stupid, and we remember it. Thankfully, it wasn't a tragedy, but it was a significant event because it was a goal that we had, and we met it. The magnitude of a day, the weightiness that it carries, the more weightiness it carries, the more we remember it. And the power of God was certainly seen in the miraculous splitting of the Red Sea, and the miraculous the power of God was also seen in the plagues, His power over creation. These were incredibly obvious ways that God demonstrated His power to liberate people and to free those that are oppressed. We also see this in the text, too. There were some clues, even in the text that we read this morning. Twice it is repeated in the crossing of the Red Sea, and 6 times in the previous chapters and during the 10 plagues, that God says, so that they may know that I am the Lord. So that the Israelites may know that I am the Lord. So that the Egyptians may know that I am the Lord. So that the Pharaoh may know that I am the Lord. God used the Exodus to increase His renown, that He may be known through all the earth, first to the Israelites, and then the rest of the world. This is a good explanation, a decent one. It's true to us, maybe. It makes sense. It's true to the text. We know more of God's power to liberate, God's power over God's justice, God's power to free the slaves. God's love for Israel, because Pharaoh's heart was hardened, because the Exodus took a long time, we remember the story. And we remember who God is and the kind of God He is. And it's helpful for us. But it doesn't necessarily get to the question of why so much suffering. It doesn't really tackle why the Egyptians had to endure so much. The second possibility is that Pharaoh's heart was hard. Pharaoh's heart was hard, and he refused to soften his heart. We know that his heart was hard because in Exodus 1, it says, in Exodus 2, it says that he was relentless, that he was a slave driver, that he asked more of the Israelites than they could do, and then he asked them to do it even faster. Not only that, but he even, as we heard about just a couple of weeks ago, mandated that all the firstborns would be killed. Pharaoh had a hard heart. And after the second plague, and after the fourth plague, the text says, Pharaoh hardened his own heart even more. Pharaoh's hard heart led to death and destruction. Hard hearts always lead to death and destruction. So So the plagues, in a sense, if we play out the possibility that Pharaoh does have a hard heart, the plagues have had a reverse effect than their intention. If their intention was to help get the people out, it actually just fueled Pharaoh's anger, fueled Pharaoh's maddening spirit towards the Israelites. Pharaoh wants to get even. A hard heart always looks to get paid back, always looks for retribution, always causes death and destruction. And the pain that Pharaoh felt, the pain that he was experiencing, had to be played out on someone, on some people. Pharaoh's hard heart led to death and destruction. The convicting part of this story is that we have hard hearts too. I was reminded of this just Friday night as I'm trying to fall asleep and my kids are nestled in bed. And my neighbor starts shooting off fireworks at 11 or 12 o'clock at night. And I want nothing more to wake up at 6 a.m., like I do most mornings, or 7 a.m., and shoot fireworks off right by their house and see if they like that, you know? The truth of the story is that we're all like Pharaoh. We all have hard hearts. It's the human condition. It's too easy for us to yearn for retribution. It's too easy for us to desire to get back at those with whom we disagree with. It's too easy for us, when we're hurt, to want to hurt others. To exchange one malicious tweet for another malicious tweet. One Facebook post for another Facebook post. We avoid compassion and understanding in exchange for stubbornness and hard-heartedness. The reality of Pharaoh's hard heart is that it leads to death and destruction. And the reality of our hard hearts is that they lead to death and destruction as well. We see this in our relationships with one another. We see this in our families. We see this in our community. And dare I even say, in our country. All of Egypt suffered under the curse of the plagues. All received God's justice for their communal hard-heartedness. Not only did Egypt experience this, but we've seen this played out too many times in our modern day. And none more obvious, maybe, for us than what happened in Nazi Germany just a couple decades ago. Sure, it was the hard hearts of a few that misled an entire nation, but it was the hard hearts of a nation that led to the death and destruction of thousands and thousands of Jews. And the breakdown of the social fabric that held Germany together. When the rabbis tried to explain this, they make the point that this is a story of liberation, yes, but also of justice. Of course, we feel bad that the plagues reached all of the Egyptians, that the community receives justice that was due to them. But there are always communal consequences for the hard-heartedness of a nation. We see it in Egypt. We saw it in Nazi Germany. And dare I even say on this 4th of July weekend, but we see it in our nation too. We live in a country of hard hearts. We live in a divided country that has more to differentiate than to unite. It's visible in our divisive political landscape that we live in. It's visible in the ways that we treat those that are most vulnerable in our country. It's visible in our interactions with people who align to a different political party than we do. I wonder what it might look like for the church to offer another way. I wonder what a soft-hearted congregation even a soft-hearted congregation right here in Holland, Michigan, might testify to a broken and fragmented world, to a soft-hearted God who desires peace and liberty and unity for all people. You see, there's always been a remnant. A remnant always remains, even in the darkest of situations, even in the times of the worst oppression and injustice. A remnant has remained. In Egypt, just a couple weeks ago, we read of a daughter of Pharaoh, who spared the life of a Hebrew boy and gave hope to a nation. In Nazi Germany, we remember, among many others, of an Oskar Schindler, who chose to use his power to save at least a few hundred Jews, to be a witness to his community, to his country. What might the church in America do? How might we exhibit the soft-hearted heart of God for this world and for this country? How might we be a witness to the unity that we know in God the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit? How might we choose to care for those that are most vulnerable in our community and our world? I can think of a number of ways in which fellowship is already doing this. But one way I want to highlight this morning is of a small group that's just beginning, that's trying to think about how we might be a witness, how we might stand with those that are trapped in the bondage of injustice, how we might stand with those that are trapped in cycles of abuse. It's the Uniting Against Abuse group, and they, in partnership with local organizations, are discerning ways in which they might stand with those that are vulnerable and abused and stand up against domestic violence. A remnant has always remained. How might we be that remnant? You see, the good news of this story is that God has gone to great lengths to soften our hearts. God went to great lengths with Israel, even when they revolted against God, even when they rejected God. God showed them mercy that they might soften their hearts, that their soft hearts might be a witness to the whole world of the love that God has for humanity. God didn't stop with Israel. God ultimately went to the greatest lengths possible to soften the hearts of all of humanity. God offered his son. God offered his son to live as an example, yes, but more than that, God offered his son for a tragedy that would require a divine deliverance, for a story that would be told for generations and generations and generations and generations to come. God offered his son on the cross, piling high on his shoulders our hard-heartedness. All to soften our hearts, to love God and to love others. All so that we, as individuals and as a community, might show the soft-hearted love of God to those that we live with, to those in our homes, and to the rest of the world. The truth that we discover in Exodus is that hard-heartedness leads to death and destruction. The truth that we discover in the God of Jesus Christ is that soft hearts lead to life and love. Which will we choose? Which will you choose today? In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.